Good day, everybody. It's Glenn, Red Dog Motorsports. This week's video, we're working on what I call the cheap truck. This is a 99 GMC 2500 with the 6.0 4L80. It's got a 6-inch lift, pretty well appointed. It's an SLE. I picked it up for a really good price, and we've been doing some work to it, which I didn't film. It was all pretty basic stuff. We did some fluid changes, we fixed the AC, a couple other minor little things, so just a little mechanical work. But the main project that I've got going on, one of the biggest ones, is the driver's seat, and it's in pretty poor shape. The bottom's ripped, we're blown out here, the cushion's pretty well sagged, we're ripped in the center, over here we're ripped up. So I've got the new seat cushion, new seat cover, new upper seat cover, and we're going to pull this out, which really just involves disconnecting the electrics, 4 bolts, and it should come right out. And then we're going to take it in the shop after we get it pulled out, and all right, seat's out. Not much treasures under there. Pretty clean truck. So I mean, obviously the seat was dirty. Have a piece of something. It looks like bed liner is what I actually kind of looks like. Don't know that's what it is, but it's what it looks like. We got 27 cents. I'll take it. And a bottle cap. This must have been from the passenger side when he was opening his drink, because I know the driver would never do that, right? Okay, so seats here. Probably flip it upside down. Being an electric seat too, I know I'll need to move the rails and all that, so I'll probably just use one of my 12-volt Milwaukee batteries to power it. I got to figure out what pins. I probably need to go out to the truck, figure out what pins are power and ground. Shouldn't be that hard, and we'll just be able to power the seat to move it around, because we are going to have to move it back and forth to fix the other part. As far as fixing the cushions, I believe we can do that without doing the rails. But I was thinking I'd do the rails first. That way I can have it sitting upside down on a workbench and not worry about damaging anything in terms of the covers. And then I'll do the covers and reinstall the seat. Now this one does have the integrated seat belt. So I'm going to have to get to, oops, sorry. So we got the integrated seat belt in the shoulder, so we're going to have to get to the mechanism that goes down in the seat for that. It'll have to be disconnected down here as well. And then this has an armrest built into it. So we'll have to get back in here somewhere for the pin and release the pin. And of course we've got the headrest, which needs to come out, and all that. So we'll have to figure all that out and then get the new cushions installed. Like I said, I got these from the seat shop. So we've got, this is the lower. Here is the upper. It's got everything on it. Even got the factory pocket sewn into the back. Excuse me. My apologies. And the color's not terribly far off. I mean, this one's a little bit worn, a little bit dirty, I'm sure, just from being a 20-something-year-old truck, but 25-year-old at this point. So it's going to be a little bit off, but not so far that I'm going to be all that worried about it. You could do the front and back all at the same time, I'm sure. And in reality, if you look at some of the older leather, it's really close. I know that's not in the sunlight, but it'll fix it from looking like that to looking like a new seat. So that's what we're about. And then on top of that, I got the seat cushion. So comes in, they've got it all cut in, they've got the Velcro, everything for getting everything attached. Now this seat does have heated seats in it, so we'll have to be careful with taking it apart, that we don't damage those any more than anything's already damaged. But let's get on it and see about doing our rails. All right, so I got the seat turned upside down here. I just got it on my stair step here. And first thing I found, because I was looking at what needed to be taken off, because the part that I want is right here, or that I was thinking I needed, is right here. And it's got 2 bushings on either side of it. And those bushings go out, and then it lets the seat do this. I don't know if you can see that moving. But I noticed it's moving because these aren't tight. At least that's what I'm thinking. So, and both of them are like that. So the question is, do we just have loose bolts? That's what it kind of acts like. I'm going to try tightening them up, and then we'll operate the seat and see if it works like it's supposed to, and it's just not tight. I don't know why it wouldn't be. So we're going to try that. Oh, and one thing. So all of the seat bolts so far have been these stars. I've got, where's my socket set? I've got the set of sockets that have these. They're the Torx bolt heads or whatever. So if you go to do this, you watch my video for any reason, you'll need a set of these. They're not real expensive. They are nice to have though. I use these actually quite a bit, far more than I thought I would. But it beats running into problems and, you know, not being able to take these bolts out. So just a heads up. All right, so tighten the bolts up, and I got a 1/4 turn and it took all the slop out of that. So maybe wasted my money on having to buy the bushing material. I shouldn't say wasted. I will use it. It was $9, I think, is what I paid for it on Amazon. I bought a polyurethane rod to make washers out of, was my idea. I'll use it for bushings and all kinds of stuff. It's not like it's really going to go bad. It'll sit on the shelf and I'll hack and whack out of it as I need. Maybe I'll make a dog toy out of it, you know, cut a piece off for the old puppers to play with. All right, moving on real quickly though. So now I need to break the seat. I'm gonna break it into the top half and the bottom half. To get the top half off from the bottom, we've got an electrical connector. This would go up into the rear heated seat portion. We got 1 bolt over here. You can just see it down there. That's going to take this hinge off of it. And then I'm going to take this handle and cover and all of this stuff off of this side, so that we can gain access to this area back here. There's going to be 1 bolt for the other hinge, and then there should be 1 bolt for the rear, the seat belt, where the shoulder belt is attached to the seat bottom, you know, because they're a 3-point connection. We've got the clicker part here, and then on this side we've got the shoulder part, which has a reel somewhere in this area, and then we've got the connection at the base of it. Sorry, not doing good with my camera angles. So let me get all these plastics off, and then we will unbolt the 2 halves, and then we'll put them over here on the workbench, on the table, I believe, or yeah, it's probably going to be on the table. And then we will see about putting the new seat cushion on, which right now, while it's upside down, you know, a lot of it's just connected with the plastic connections. You just push them off and roll it over. It's got another one in here on the bottom. This one's already broken free, but it just connects onto here when it's rolled over. I got the same thing up here in the front. We'll have that coming around this other side as well. So it's not real difficult to install. And then I believe the seat cushion itself is just sitting on there. I don't even think it's glued or anything. We'll find out, but let's get on it. of the audio and everything is changed. The GoPro, I like it, but for some reason it's got the whole glitch where 54%, 45%, 90% battery, it just says low battery and shuts off. And unless they're at 100%, it doesn't want to work. So at any rate, I had to switch to a different camera. Regardless, those are my problems. So bottom half and top half should be disconnected from each other. It had two electrical connectors, one for the heated seats, the other, I'm not positive what it goes to. Maybe something to do with the seat belts. I don't know. But at any rate, I disconnected this bolt or loosened it. It doesn't need to come fully off. You could take it all the way off to get to one that's right here behind it. And then we had one that's down here that we had to remove, and it should be disconnected. And then we removed all the plastic. There was 4 bolts over here. We had to undo the seat belt. That goes right there. And then we removed the controls. And there were 2 electrical connectors that went to it. So now we should, hopefully, I don't know. I will have to pull on a little bit, but I believe it should come right off. We're fixing to find out. I don't know why it wouldn't, but let me put the camera down and see what we can do. Wasn't having much luck getting the seat back off. I'm not 100% positive why. Could just be rusted in there. I don't find another bolt, but I'm going to quit messing with it. I did remove the headrest down here, and that's just done. Show you real quick. You just need an awl like this, and then it goes in right here on the side, and it just pushes that. There's a little clip inside there. I don't know that you can see it. See if we can get some light on it. That little clip right there just gets pushed over by pushing there, and then you can just pull the headrest straight up and get it to release. Now we're going to work on the arm. So we need to remove the arm, and to do that, sorry about all my camera resetting. You got to pull the seat cover back. Let me get it broke free, it looks like. Hold on.
Went down to the river, washed my sins away, and praying, praying for another day. I went down to that river, washed my sins for free. The devil's on the other bank, staring back at me. I'm a dead man walking, I'm a dead man walking, I'm a dead man. coffin, another nail for me. I gotta look pretty when I go down. Another nail in my coffin, can't you spare one more? I gotta look pretty when I'm knocking down heaven's door. I'm a dead man walking, I'm a dead man walking, I'm a dead man. I'm a dead man walking, I'm a dead man walking, I'm a dead man.
To do this, you have to expose the frame that the armrest is mounted to. I'm not too worried about cutting up the leather a little bit in doing this because I'm replacing it. If you're just doing your armrest, that would be a huge pain in the butt. But from here, there's a little rubber band on this clip. You undo that little rubber band, and then you undo this clip, and then the armrest will slide out. Put your clip back on, your rubber band back on, and then when you put your armrest on, it'll self-clip in. And that's how come you're able to get, that's how come this leather is able to be on the other side and hide all of this, is because this self-clips into that. Luckily, I'm replacing this, and so I can go ahead and work with it without it being a problem. And now I'll use, won't use this all. I'm going to use one of the crooked ones. Hold on, I'll show you real quick. I'm going to use this, oops. I'm going to use this style to grab the rubber band to gain myself a little space. Now I like to come at it from the outside in if I can. That way I don't lose the rubber band inside here. Let me grab it with the needle nose. If I lose it, oh, I'm getting ready to lose it. The problem is that if I lose it, it's inside the seat and you can't. Hold on, I'm gonna have to set you guys to the side. You're in my way. Alright, so my problem is that if I lose this rubber band, then it's inside the seat frame. And I may not find it again. Alright, we got it. There it is. Now, I'm going to use the awl. Let me set you guys to the other side. There you go. I'm going to gain a little space on this clip using this again. And we'll grab it with the needle nose nice and tight so I can pull it out without losing it into the seat frame. Alright, there's my clip. Right there. And there's the armrest. And now what I'll do, we'll put this clip back on, put the rubber band back on, Oops, oops, don't drop it. Sorry, I'm concentrating here. All right, clip is back on. And now I got to hook the rubber band on the bottom side and pull it around to the top. And then it'll all be reset for when I go to put it back together. Woo. I can see that a lot of people drop these in there because I'm about to do that myself. All right, there we got it. All right, rubber band is back on. And now, when I go to put this in, you just slide this in and it clips into place and we're done. All right, armrest is off. Now I have to figure out how to get this part up here for the seat belt. I got to get it off. All right, I got things popped off. So this, it just pops off with the screwdriver and just popped it out. Then I did end up taking these covers off. These stay with the seat. You got to stretch the leather over it. By the way, I did watch a little bit of a YouTube video just now. And so now we're going to disconnect the bottom of the seat cover from itself. We'll flip the seat over and then we'll start rolling this up to get it up and over all the foam and then stretch it out over these. So that's what I'm going to get started with. Should be fun.
Pour me another drink, bartender, and light my cigarette. You ever seen a dead?
All right. So I'm at this point. I removed the seat bottom. It had 2 bolts up front. It slides forward. It's just got little nubs and them slots in the back. And then you undo the harness connectors and it comes right off. But that gave me room to get to this channel right here. This is a J channel. It's got an opposite one like this. I'll show you when I get it off how they click together. But I use needle nose and rotated it. Once you get one side popped out, it just run out the rest of the way. And then you start turning it inside out, and I'll roll it up the rest of the way, and then we'll be able to get it out over the belt and over the top of the headrest mounts. So that's where we're at.
Dead man talking, no you haven't seen one yet. I'm a dead man walking.
All right, we're at the point. I got the cover off basically. I'm just going to reach inside, see about turning the trim for the seat belt. I'll turn it sideways. That lets it slide through the hole. There we go. Now the only other part I got to get to is around the headrest pieces, and you got to like stretch the leather. Although I'm considering cutting it. I don't need to save the cover, and really more important to not break the mount at this point. So there's one. Don't cut your fingers. And there's 2, and the cover is off. Now in the video, they'll talk to you, they'll tell you they don't know which mount yours comes with. Some of them have this plastic strip and the metal bar in here to attach this. They use Velcro, so Apparently got to take this bar out and then put the Velcro piece in there from their kit and glue it in or whatever. So I'm going to look into that. Here's the rear heated seat piece. I'm going to have to do something here. I don't know, tape or some foam or something to fix that. I was thinking, I knew it was damaged. I think I'm going to cut some out of the seat bottom over here and put it in there and glue it in, and just to give myself a little bit of shape and whatnot. I can probably sand it down, do whatever I need to do to make the shape right, but that's something we're going to have to do here in a minute. All right, I peeled off the bottom seat cover and just ran my hands up the Velcro to peel it off, and then the heated seat portion, it's just glued on the outside right here. So I gently peeled it off from the back. Now I've got to get some adhesive. I've got a couple of different types. I'm gonna have to see what'll work. And then I think we're gonna cut some cushion material out of here to put here to fill that in and kind of get where all of this torn up piece is gone. And then we can just use the grinder or sander or something to get it shaped back in. But that'll help keep that from poking through and just make it, keep it shaped. So I'm gonna work on cutting that out and see what we have for adhesive. I think I've got some Gorilla foam, but I'm a little concerned that that dries hard. We want it to stay flexible. And I think there's a can of spray adhesive around here somewhere, and that should work actually pretty well for both of these items. It's a contact adhesive. You spray it on both sides. When you stick it together, it bonds. If not, Home Depot, Lowe's we go, and I'm sure we'll find some there. If not, craft stores probably have some for the foam as well. That might even be a better location to get it. But, and then I was talking about that bar. I was watching their instructional video, but apparently things have changed since that video was put out. This seat comes with the plastic clips for the bar. So good thing I didn't take the bar out already. That would have been disappointing. But good news, it's already in the seat. They build these to order. You give them your VIN number so they can confirm. So possibly they looked up the VIN, knew what was in that seat, and went with that. So let's fix the foam. Let's glue down the seat cover on the bottom. We can replace all of the cushions. And oh, let me pull this cushion off. I'll show you something I saw. We're gonna have to do some repairs. All right, got the cushion itself is just sitting on here. It's not glued down or anything. It's just got indentations when it's formed for all of the areas of this. 25 years of somebody sliding out the side of this has crushed this edge. You can see the metal itself is broken and torn. So I'm gonna have to bend this back up here and there, and we're gonna have to weld this seat frame back together again. And then the same thing has pushed the bars over that hold the wires and springs. So this spring's not even attached anymore. So we'll have to knock this pin back over, get this one connected to the pin. Same thing in the front. It's broken. And once all of that's knocked back into place and appropriate, the spring will reattach. We'll get this bent back up, welded in place. We'll use the little welder, the little Lincoln 90i, and it's basic sheet metal welding. We'll be able to get all of this over here straightened out, where the mount goes for that. So all of that will come back and be good to go again. And this edge of the seat will be solid. So got some repairs to do. Let me get going on that, and then we should be able to go back into reinstallation. Cool. All right, seat pan's fixed. Took a little bit more than I thought. So we had quite a bit of welding to do here, up in this area, a couple of little cracks out there, got this all bent back upright. So, and then getting all of this wiring the suspension portion of the seat straightened back out kind of sucked. This one I was just able to knock it across and get it done, but I've had to add some tie wire because why can't manufacturers make stuff that works? 81% on the battery and it shut off. Said it was low battery. It won't. It just, for whatever reason, there's something in the GoPro that just can't read the battery correctly and dies. At any rate, so the tie wire is here because all of this gets broke as you get out of the seat. You constantly sit on this portion, especially in the lifted truck. That's not going away. The truck's still lifted. So while I fixed all of this is going to want to move over and separate, which then makes the pressure on this worse. So hopefully by adding these pieces in here, it kind of gives some support and spreads it across the rest of these and prevents some of that from happening, or makes it last longer. It may do nothing. I don't know, but I tried. So at any rate, that part's done. Now I'm going to move over here. We're going to get the grinder out and just clean this up a little bit. I just want to get the old foam off, and then we'll cut a piece to fit in here, glue it on. My glue is, I don't know how old, 20 years old, 15 years old, something like that, but I've got it sitting in the sun to warm the can up because, like I said earlier, it was kind of cold here. So we'll get it warmed up, and then we'll do a little bit of gluing with it, and then we'll use the grinder to profile the last little bit, and that should fix that. We'll start the reinstall process of everything we've got here. Oh, and while I've got the glue, I can glue the heating pad for the bottom. I can glue it on, and that should get us to the point of putting covers on and putting the seat back together and putting it in the truck. So let's get on it. All right, I'm set up. I've got a piece of foam cut. Had a piece of foam cut. Hold on. So, piece of foam. It fits basically just like this. Now I'm planning on grinding it down once I get it in here. So hopefully that works. We'll see. I'm just using the grinder with a 120 grit disc on it. So I've covered up the area, as you can see, with some tin foil. I'm gonna set you guys down. I know I'm gonna be out of frame a little bit, but let's see if this will work. I have no clue. I'm just trying it. See if I can't get the best possible. You know, of course, my nozzle's not working great. You'd think after 15, 20 years, it'd just go to town. Might have to get a different nozzle. Got gloves on. So it said, the instructions said do a medium coat. I guess that's fairly medium. Probably wet, heavy, whatever. All right. So now that we got too much on there, which would be perfect, we will try to stick this to it and see how she does. I have no clue. Well, it's sticking. That's a good sign. Probably gonna have to give this a couple of minutes just to get everything a chance to set up. But hopefully I can profile this edge in a little bit, and this one kind of give it a rounded shape, and that'll be sufficient to give this thing some form back. It is not perfect. I am not an upholstery guy. I don't know. So I'm gonna let that set up for a little bit, gain some strength, and then we'll grind it down, and then should be able to start putting the seat covers back on. Actually, while this one's drying, I think we'll work on putting the bottom seat together. That sounds like an excellent use of my time. All right. So all I did was laid the cushion down, put the steel on top of it, the seat pan. Now, over here, they got one set of controls cut open. I'm gonna have to cut this out the rest of the way like that. I'm just gonna use a razor knife to do so, to make it fit. And then we can start stretching the bottom cover over the top. So let me get the knife. We'll make that happen. All right, so as I was marking this, there's an indentation already in this. Basically, it's a pre-cut line. I'm sure if I watched the instructions, it told me that. But I didn't watch the instructions, so I don't know that. And my knife's not very sharp. Maybe the other side? Nope. Let me get a new blade. All right, see if this cuts any better. Oh, that's nice. Much better. You could probably use a heated blade too. I don't like using the heated blades with this kind of foam, or any foams for that matter. I'm just always concerned about the fumes. You know, I breathe enough bad stuff without adding to the list if I can help it. All right, so with that cut out, we can start putting cover on. So, flip this back over, like so. Oh no, hold on, stop. Everybody stop. Here is the, yeah, I gotta do the heating pad. So, I'm gonna glue it same as I did the foam. All right, that's glued down. I just did the same thing with the other foam. I put tin foil around it and sprayed it on there. Had this flipped over, tin foil down the middle, except for the areas where I want to glue. It's held. So now we'll take this and I'm lining up. There's a divot in the center. All right, so we've got 3 parts here. We've got the center, the 3 Velcro strips, and so I'm gonna line the center up, and I'm gonna line this up, and then when I push these down to the Velcro, then I can fold everything over and connect it on the bottom. Or I'm doing it backwards because I'm just happen to be looking at it like that. Whatever. All right, there we go. So now we'll push that in. Make sure your hands are clean. Mine undoubtedly are not. All right, and now we can start rolling this over. I'm probably doing this wrong, but it's working, whatever. And I think this needs to go down inside. It does not go outside. Okay. All right, so more of the same. And now, you gotta pull this back. It rolls over. But you gotta stretch it. And get it to attach to the metal. It's just a J hook or whatever you want to call it. There we go. All right. Now this one goes here. This one goes there. I got to figure these ones out. They were a little different. All right, let me bring you guys in and show you kind of where I'm at a little closer. All right, so this one here is going to go in there. It goes underneath and up. Same thing with this side. There should be one right over here. There it is. So it has to go over and under. This looks like it needs to be bent in a little bit. So I need to get a pair of pliers on it. Now this one, this part here goes on that lip, but you got to roll it over and then push it down. And you got to do that all the way around. And I don't know, might have to watch some instructions. Don't know if it's supposed to be done first in the front or work from the edges. But I just know how it goes on there. And then once all that's done, then we can cut our opening with the razor knife for this panel over here. Then that's gluing right now too, by the way, because it had some broken bits. Looks like I need to straighten this out in the back as well. So we'll get the pliers, we'll straighten that out, we'll straighten this out, and then we can finish installing the rest of that, and should be good. So let's get on it. All right, I moved over to the table. I know my head's out of frame, but I can't show you my head. And then this, I don't have a videographer. So I started in the center here, and you gotta roll, it seems like this white piece here is upside down, but you gotta roll it over, and then you can kind of stretch it up, and you get it on there, and then you push it down, and it clips into place on these little pieces that are punched out. Over here, you start in the corner, and you roll that over, and then this piece rolls over easy. I'll show you here on this one. So just starting here, I just turn it upside down, and then as you roll it under, it just naturally starts to guide onto the side piece. And you just keep rolling it upside down, grabbing it through the leather, roll it over, and then push it down. And you should hear a click. That's what you're listening for. But there, that's all it really is. And it stays. So that's what we want. And then now we'll take this piece, see if we can't stretch this around a little bit. And it gets tucked underneath. Like so. So this goes like, pretty sure that goes like that. We take this one, pull it up, underneath the frame. Gotta kind of push on the foam. Come on. There we go. And that's all held. Now some of these would be kind of loose, but you gotta remember when you sit in the center of the seat, then they'll pull tight. So, all right. We got a hole here. I don't know if you can see my fingers, but there's a hole here. That's where your seat belt's gonna come through and get bolted down. And then we still have to cut our opening here for these controls. So mine were broken on the back, so I got some super glue in there, letting it dry. Hopefully that'll hold it. It was in there with just 2 screws before, so this should be okay. But yeah, I'll have to cut that opening. Actually, that's upside down. It goes like this. See that? It'll go in like that, and but we're looking pretty good. We're looking at least better than what we had before. All right, let's go do the back. All right, I got a glove on to protect my hand. Just using the grinder. Gotta find the right angle. That's pretty close. Now, one thing I will say, if I had some fiberglass or fabric mesh, putting it over that to help distribute the load would probably be a good idea. I don't have any, so that's what we're running with. It didn't profile in too bad. It isn't perfect. If you're a seat guy or upholstery guy and watch this for any reason, let me know a better way. I'm always happy to learn. It's the only way I get things done, by doing it myself and learning from other people. So put a comment up, let me know. All right, I'm started on the install of the upper. They already had a small cut right here. I'll have to enlarge it just a little bit, but it's where your seatbelt comes through. So I got that. And what I started is by pushing down. I got this area nice and tight for the seatbelt mount. And then there's a seam across the back of the seat. And I started by making sure that was straight. And then I start working on pushing it over. And then I'm going to work my way down the seat, trying to make sure that my Velcro pieces fit inside, because that gives the back of the seat cover its shape, its tuck look. And then making sure the vertical ones are lining up with the verticals. And now I'm going to start working the sides down to get it, to get it pulled down. And then we'll hook the bottom with the 2 J hooks. And then it's just a matter of bolting the bottom seat on, finishing the mount for the side controls, plugging in all the wires, vacuum the truck, and bolt the seat back in. We'll be good to go. So we're getting close. This would be easier by far with another person, which I am short on. Do not have another person. Oh yeah, you got to get these. You'll have to get these hooks on too. It should be tight. I mean, if it's loose, it's wrong. Of course, the other part is trying to keep your hands and stuff clean. Oh, don't rip it. That's the other thing. You don't want to rip it. All right, now need to get my bolsters pushed in, get my Velcro in there, and get these side clips on, and then we'll hook the bottom. And like I said, we're back, almost back together. So, looking close. I got to get these pushed in and straightened out a little bit. Turned around. So, I'm going to get on that. Get all this snapped in, and we'll go from there. Probably put it up on the table to finish it up. All right, so I got it on there. It's not too bad. Maybe not perfect. I used the hammer handle to push the Velcro in here. This area here to get these clips on that bar, before I put the Velcro on, I reached up in there, got it aligned, and then used the hammer handle to push it in, and it came out all right. So now what we'll do, I need to cut the opening. So there needs to be an opening for the pin that goes in this groove, and I need to cut an opening for this pin to push it in, and then it'll lock into what we were dealing with before. Probably wouldn't hurt to put a little bit of white lithium on this just to keep it operating smoothly. So cut my new cover open. Start small, work bigger. Don't get too excited. You don't want to slip. Use a sharp blade too. You know, you can buy a box of 100 for a couple bucks, but you use a dull blade, you slip because you're struggling. Next thing you know, you go from I can't get it to oh my God, it's huge. And that would suck, considering these aren't cheap. The covers, that is. A couple $100 for sure. All right, we got it nice and opened up. Now you can trim these little edges because I made an X. So I'll trim the bits of the X off and make myself basically a hole. Don't cut your fingers. All right. A dab will do you on the white lithium. maybe. Ow. There we go. Now I could have replaced the cover on this piece too, but it only has one small rip, and I just wasn't worried about it. If it's up, heck, half of the time people don't even notice it's there. So, and if somebody wants to replace it, it's easy enough to do so, I suppose. All right, that's done. All right, I need to do the headrest. So I need to find the two little buttons up here and do the same thing I just did here. I also need to do it for the seat belt, and then we'll bolt everything to the bottom and clean up the truck and it's in. Getting very close. All right, let me see if I can show you guys how I'm doing this. So basically I use my finger to find the center, so I know where it's at, and then I pierce it with the knife. Then I work my way, I flip the knife and I cut back towards the one I already made. That way I don't go too far. And do the same thing going the other way. And the hardest part's not the leather, it's the foam underneath. Like I said, you don't want to go too far because then it'll always suck. All right. And then using my finger, try to get up underneath the foam to finish creating my opening. All right, now with an opening, then I switch to one of these tools and I get this underneath the edge and then I stretch it. Get up underneath that foam and you get that edge. And now what it does is, because your hole is a little bit smaller than that, it always stays nice. Pop your cap back on. Now your cap's got a little hole in it. It goes next to the button. Should have sprayed these down while I had everything apart. Whoops. But I didn't. All right. Now we can just slide the headrest right in. What do I do with the headrest? I lost the headrest. I'll have to find it. It's in the shop. It didn't leave the shop. So let me find that. That's just sliding it in. I'm not going to show you the seatbelt hole because it's the same thing as the other. It's just a little bit of cutting. Easy peasy. Get that cover popped on. Should be good to go. Probably won't show you the bolt in the bottom of the seat on. It's just sliding that into place. You slide the two buttons in here, set it down, push it back. The front two holes line up, and we're done. And then plug in all the electrical, bolt up the seat belts, and then, like I said, we'll clean the truck and bolt the seat down. Almost there. All right, so it's the next day, and I had battery problems. Of let them sit and charge, and it just got late, so I closed up shop and went on about my day. I've got the passenger seat out, and to see if this one has slop in it. This one's solid, no movement in it, bolts are tight. This one moves. See if you watch that line, and the bolts are tight. So this one has the bushing problem. Didn't have it on the driver's seat, but we got it on this one. So the lines are there so that we can tell where it needs to be put back when we're done. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull these two bolts I believe in looking at it, that'll let this hole up, this bottom section, technically it's upper because that's the way we're looking at it, but really this is the lower section that bolts to the body. That should come off. Then we should have a bolt here and something down in. All right, let's move on. 94% battery, and it decided to turn off on me. Very irritating. Okay, as I was saying, I think once this piece is off, we can take this bolt off and something in here, and then just take that slider mechanism out, and it will allow us to fix the bushings, put it all back, get everything lined up. We're good to go. But for now, let me get this out, get this piece off, and then we'll see where we're at. Okay, it didn't come apart quite like I expected, but we did get it. So what I ended up having to do, we undid these two bolts. That removed, or let this piece move in relation to everything else. I had to undo this cover, and then this bolt, sorry, this bolt was right back here with a nut underneath. You remove it, and it allows this rod, this Acme rod, to come out. And this is the piece we're working with right here. We'll flip it over, and you can see it moves back and forth. And so we just need to make some bushings that go around this rod in between there. I don't know that it matters if it's centered or not. We'll probably go ahead and center it. It does take up some shock load, and I'm going to use this polyurethane material to do that. So I do need to mark where this is at. I need to probably measure from one side to the end kind of deal, so that we know and can get it centered back real easily, and then we'll go from there. All right, over here on the workbench, gonna do some measuring. So my total dimension is 0.8. And then this dimension is, let's see, this goes in this way. So its thickness is, so we've got basically about 1/4 inch difference between the two. So we'll make two 1/8 inch spacers that are ¾ of an inch wide and about 5/8 deep. And just shy of a 1/2 inch hole. So 3/4 by 5/8 overall diameter, and then 1/8 inch thick and a 1/2 inch hole. So I'll probably just I don't know, I guess I gotta cut a chunk off, drill my hole, and then we'll cut some 1/8 inch pieces off it. A little bit of sanding, should be good to go. Let's get on it. All right, I got a bit distracted, and I got everything fine-tuned over there on the table. Used some sandpaper, got everything in there. Used a razor knife to trim it up to the exact shape so that nothing was sticking out. And then I reinstalled it on the Acme rod and put the rod back in. Realized I wasn't filming anything. But now what I got to do, or now what it needs to be done, is if you look right inside there, you probably can't see it, but the end of the shaft has to go inside a bushing, and then that little drive rod right in there needs to go in the end of the shaft. So I'm trying to do basically 3 things at once. and getting everything aligned. Batteries. So what I think I'm going to do is use some tie wire. I'm going to put it in here so that I can maneuver that around, and then I'll have a switch cameras. And then I got distracted with a phone call, came back and put everything back together, so you guys didn't get to see any of it. But the tie wire that we were working with worked perfectly, was able to wiggle it around, get the shaft to pop into the bushing. I just held my finger on the flex shaft while I was doing it, and that popped right in. All of these bolts basically went in like they should, and now all of my lines are lined up. So, and we have no play now. So no play on either side. So this seat ready to go back in. This is the passenger one. Over here on the driver, I just have to put a couple of screws in here and it's ready to go in. So this part is basically done. So let me get these seats in and we'll show you that everything still works. All right, so everything's back in, and seats nice and tight. Everything works. So that's all good. Driver's seat looks good. You can tell that the color's different. You can see that this is darker than that. And obviously it looks new compared to the others, because it is. Let me walk over there real quick. Overall, I'm real happy with it. I mean, it's better than the old beat up one. Probably, you know, could have replaced the passenger one at the same time, but it's a cheap truck. I'm not trying to spend the entire bank, and I'm not planning on keeping it. So I don't know, but it looks good. So all of it came out nice. We got nice shape where the Velcro goes. The only thing I think, in hindsight, I should have probably tried to pull this end down with some hog rings or something and gotten this a little smoother maybe. It's just me nitpicking, I think. But otherwise, you know, it's all good. It looks tight. So I like it. That's going to wrap up this week's video. Thank you for watching. Hopefully it helps you with some hints and tips and tricks when you do yours. If not, we'll catch you on the next one.
I'm a dead man walking. I'm a dead man walking.